In this video, you're going to learn part 2 of seduction strategy and maturity to get women chasing you. Welcome to Issac Wilson's channel, The Evolution of Dating. In a moment, I'm going to show you part 2 of seduction strategy and maturity to get women chasing you. And if you stay with me all the way, I'm going to also reveal how you can become the enlightened man who knows the most effective and most natural seductive techniques. In my previous video, we discussed the 3 ranks or categories of male seducers: in-action man, emotional hobbyist, and lonely perfectionist. Let's do a quick recap of the last video. In-action man doesn't exert enough effort and energy when it comes to meeting women and seducing them. He wants passion and intimacy, but he doesn't put in the fuel to keep the train moving. What he does most of the time is hope that a wonderful woman will finally come to his life, but there's no effort behind the endless wishes. The emotional hobbyist's main weakness is his inability to create a solid approach for approaching women during dates. Consistency is also a problem because he only pursues women sporadically and with little or no energy. How can you stay motivated if you're not completely engaged in the game of seduction? The lonely perfectionist can become very obsessed with seduction, theoretical seduction that is. The class of gentlemen tends to approach sex and seduction like a university class. The main problem that this category encounters is lack of practice. Without practice or praxis, action, theory is next to useless. Time to close the books and put your knowledge into action. The above classes of men are the basic lower ranks of seducers. It's time to reveal the upper echelon of seduction to show you what can happen if you put your mind into the game. How do the upper ranks of men who get all of the women differ from the basic ranks of men who struggle with women? Ready to discover how you can potentially progress in the coming weeks or months? Here are the 3 upper seduction ranks. Rank 4, impatient man. Impatient man wants action tonight. Anything less will be characterized as a fluke or complete failure. The defining characteristic of impatient man is the amount of time and money he devotes to speed seduction. Speed seduction is often based on hypnosis, which is actually a powerful tool if used correctly. However, impatient man doesn't want to exert a lot of effort to convince women to sleep with him. That's why he's always on the lookout for solutions that will allow him to get what he wants in the shortest time possible. The problem with many of these speed seduction materials is that they require a high level of skill and attention to detail in order to work. Hypnosis-based seduction will only work if you've mastered the basics of self-hypnosis, which is the core skill needed. Many impatient men don't bother to study how to do it properly, and thus they are often plagued with problems during dates. An impatient man is quick to hate himself if something doesn't go as planned. He beats himself up for lost opportunities, and this tendency demotivates and demoralizes him whenever a date doesn't go as planned. He gets angry easily, and it's never healthy to allow yourself to become angry just because seduction didn't work. Anger makes a man careless and less intelligent when making decisions. Lastly, impatient man doesn't know how to learn from past mistakes. All he can see is the outcome, failure, but he doesn't want to acknowledge that his approach to the date may have had its own flaws. Thus, impatient man may continue using the same flawed techniques repeatedly, causing even more failures down the road. Rank number 4, the expert. The expert has finally recognized the common mistakes related to seduction and is progressively improving. He applies new techniques and past experiences to his present exploits in the dating world. He is balanced most of the time, and he does not excessively focus on any single seduction technique. The expert knows for a fact that fantasies are often incongruent with reality. So when he is faced with a doubt, fear, or an anxiety, he knows that he is actually battling his own inner issues and not the world at large. He acknowledges this reality, and he does his best to deal with issues even before he goes out on a date. The expert is willing to evolve and change as he sees fit. He doesn't feel obligated to follow trends, and he sticks to time-tested solutions. He has a wide array of techniques, and he uses them as needed. He doesn't feel bad when a woman doesn't want to get intimate immediately. He recalibrates his approach and tries again in the future. He knows that the future holds a lot of promise. He uses his past victories to boost his self-confidence. He is no longer afraid of making mistakes. He acknowledges that seduction will always be a never-ending learning process. Rank number 6, the enlightened one. The enlightened one is the Professor X of the seducers. He knows the most effective and the most natural seductive techniques, and these are now second nature to him. He is the closest a seducer can come to perfection. He studies himself, women, and other men to see if the landscape is changing. He uses this information to strengthen himself. Nothing phases him. Every date and encounter is a learning opportunity that he maximizes. The enlightened one is found attractive by a majority of women because he exudes sexiness and confidence. He does this without knowing it because it's already second nature to him.